So there you have it. You want to start on your journey, and you want to become a better person, a better presenter. You want to become someone who is more likable. You probably tried this before, but you failed, and you feel it in yourself that you're sort of rigid, you're sort of cold towards other individuals, but you want to change that because inside that's not who you are. You want to project, and you want to present yourself as one who is more likable because you actually do like people. I understand completely. Now, I want to talk to you about this as we sit back in this backseat conversation. If you could imagine with me, sitting in the back seat with me, we're having a sort of a off the record, business conversation, personality conversation. As you hear the rain pitter patter in the background, you can still imagine ourselves just having our conversation about these things. I want to share with you in this moment, this discussion, some of the tools that I've used to continue to be, I guess some people would say charismatic, but I just want to say it puts me in a good mood and I'm able to be more patient and understanding towards people. Some people have approached me and said to me, "Wow, Louis, how is it that you're so patient? How is it that you are still in a good mood?" They say to me, "Every time I see you, you're always, energetic and smiling." They've told me this. I've remembered them saying this to me. I don't remember them saying that I know how to say the word remember that well, but I have certain mindsets that have been instilled in me long ago. But not only that, I believe that this type of demeanor is learnable, and it is like a muscle that can be learned. Even today, I'm still learning. After all the years, after developing these types of traits in my personality, I'm still finding myself reading books or watching programs that still continue to help mold me and shape me and encourage me as well to shape myself into the person that I want to be. Because like all of us, we all forget things. And so I know that you want to change your presentation as well. You want to be one that comes across more warm, likable, more personable, more understanding. You want to show some goodwill towards people. Obviously, we're not trying to be taken advantage of, but you understand, I'm sure, that the individual who is more likable and warm gets more followers. I'm not just talking about social media, I'm talking about in real life, where you walk around and you actually meet physical people at your workplace. They gravitate towards you, they confide more in you. I'm sure that's what you want. They tell you their concerns, their fears, their worries. They might even confess to you some things they've done that they're ashamed of. Trust me, I've had these people come to me as well. And I love the feeling. But I don't do it for the feeling. I don't do it for people to just recognize me as a good guy. That's not why I do these things. I learned to use these tools I'm going to show you because that's just who I am. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy the person. I enjoy listening and helping them out. I want to warn you that if you just come and try to learn these types of tools and advice that I want to give you, only if you're coming from a bad place to manipulate people and get people to do things that are not going to help them out, it'd be better for you not to do that, because sooner or later your motives will be found out, and you don't want to have it come out that way. Someone once said before, you might disagree, but they have said, sometimes karma passes over you and hits your children, and they feel the effects and the consequences of what you've done. So you want to come always from a good place. And ultimately, the tools that you will learn about how to be more charismatic, how to be more likable and magnetic, comes from the inside anyway. You cannot fake this as much. I talk about how you can turn this on and off like a switch. understood, but it all comes and emanates from inside. Just like the heater in your house, the furnace blows out warm air, but it's because there is a fire inside of the machine. Hot water comes out of the boiler because there is a fire inside of the boiler making the water hot. If it wasn't for that fire inside, how would you get hot water coming out of those pipes? How would you get nice, comfortable, warm air coming through the vents in a cold winter's day if it not were the fire inside the furnace? And how will you be able to communicate warmth if it not be for the fire of compassion and goodwill towards people burning inside of you? If you find yourself to be a religious person, you can also stoke the fires of compassion by delving deep into your beliefs if you feel like that. And that is a good thing, but I'm not talking to them as well as much as I am talking to you. Perhaps you are not one who has these religious beliefs, and that's okay. I'm here to tell you that you can have still good, warm feelings. It sounds weird and cheesy, I understand. But you can still find a way to cultivate warmth from inside of you. Well, let's talk about this. Like I said, let's talk about this. First of all, you have to realize that in order to be charismatic, you have to have a right mental state beforehand. Now, just like a physical athlete, obviously an athlete who performs at a physical optimum level, they are there in the ballpark and you go and watch them. You know, right now it's baseball season. I like my Chicago Cubs, and you go into the stadium and you watch those Cubs players, or you watch the team of your choice warming up, and you look at them. And when I was a kid, I used to go there and I used to watch these players warming up outside, and I'm like, these men are like not human. The way they throw the ball, the way their bodies are built, the way they catch the ball, it sounds so loud. When I was a kid, I was like amazed at how strong these athletes are and how hard they hit the ball. I'm like, these guys are superhuman. But look, they train themselves to get that way. Anyone who trains their bodies and eats the right foods can increase in their physical strength and can appear almost even, especially to a younger person, almost as superhuman. But the point is, they train themselves, they warm up before their performance. So if you want to emanate warmth and show that magnetic personality, it starts with warming up with the right mental state of mind. The right mental state of mind. Yes, this is a tool that you could use, is to first of all focus on the inside by yes, filling yourself up with good information. It never gets old saying that the type of information you are consuming in the 21st century, especially coming from online and social media, is extremely important. I'm assuming throughout all of this that the information you're taking in is coming from, I want to say, a good place. It's coming from an encouraging place, from a place of motivation, that you have counselors and audios and you're subscribed to individuals that are encouraging you to move forward. I'm assuming all of this, okay? Now, granted that you are this way, you're taking in good information and removing or limiting the information that you know it does not encourage you as much, then having a grateful mindset, there it is, there's one of the tools. Having gratitude is going to put you in a mental state where you are ready to emanate warmth already. There's many religious individuals that are in the habit of thanking, God, or thanking their deity or whatever it is. They walk around with thankfulness. They're commanded to thank God and everything. That is not a bad idea, though. If you can still be one who is thankful for everything that they have, just start thinking about your surroundings. Start thinking about what you see around you. That even if you find yourself at work right now, listening in your headphones while everyone's passing by, wondering why you're not answering them when they call on you, and you find yourself still comfortable in saying, I'm thankful that I can work in a nice, comfortable environment where there's a hot cup of coffee that I just drank and it's starting to get cold, and you're wondering how you're going to heat up that coffee again. Well, you can still thank and be thankful for. You don't have to particularly thank someone out there like, oh, I thank this, or I thank my lucky stars, or whatever. But you can still say, I am thankful for the microwave. I am thankful for having facilities to go and relieve myself. I am thankful for parking spaces. I'm thankful for a vehicle that I can have privacy and sing songs and practice my singing skills. See, just the practice of gratitude will immediately improve your, I want to say, your facial expression. It'll improve your inward mood. Obviously, mood is inside, but you know what I'm saying? It'll improve you internally and give you that appreciation for things that you probably didn't see before. It's the opposite of anxiety. It's the opposite of jealousy. It's this thankfulness that gives you this feeling of warmth and good towards yourself. Not only that, but it also creates in you this sort of ease and contentment and joy. On the flip side, if you're not thankful, a lot of times you come off as pushy. I'm not saying you are pushy, but other people might see you as that, especially if you're in sales and you're always looking for the next deal, the next deal, the next deal. You're going to come across as pushy, and people find that uncomfortable. They find that not magnetic. They repel individuals who are very needy. If you find yourself walking across a mall and you look to your left and you see some cool advertisements and cool little gadgets, and then you walk in the mall continually and you smell nice aromas coming from a candle store, and then suddenly you find some salesperson out there approaching you, immediately you're going to be repelling them and try to pretend like you're on the phone or something, because they come across as pushy. But if that individual, instead of coming to you and trying to get you to buy something you don't even want, did something that caught your eye, they shared value that you find useful, and eventually you're going to see the need to buy that, and you're going to want to buy that. See, the good salesperson, this is just a quick little tip of value for that salesperson, is that salesperson who can create the need inside the customer's psyche. You can, a skilled salesperson is one who can make the prospect desire intensely the thing they're looking for. See, people want to buy, they don't want to be sold to. So if you can create a thirst in them, in the prospect, for the thing you're selling, it'll be much more easier to sell. You won't be pushy. When you can show a prospect, okay, this is just a side note, if you can show a prospect what they want, they will move heaven and earth to get that thing. But I digress. I'm talking about gratitude, okay? And not coming across as pushy. Another thing you can do to increase your charismatic state, your internal mindset, right? The thing you can do to improve your mental state so that you can emanate warmth and be like that glowing, hot individual. I know it might come across as a little weird, right? Hot individual. What I'm saying is you're emanating warmth, right, towards individuals. The other thing you could do is practice what we call self-compassion. This is a very beautiful thing you can do. And now again, this is a life-changing thing. Take it for what you will, but listen to me. The moment you start to realize that you can target warmth and compassion towards yourself, this is something you're going to want to carry for the rest of your life. This self-compassion. One of the reasons why religions are so attractive to individuals and so feeling like you need it in your life is because of this feeling of having a father figure or a mother figure that is so compassionate towards you. This thing of unconditional love attracts the individual so much, and especially when it is painted in the light of that the individual did something very terrible in the past and now they are forgiven by this individual, this entity, this deity, and they feel almost like they owe a world, a life of gratitude. a life of devotion. They feel like they owe it to them, right? Because of this compassionate being, all loving, okay? All loving being. That's what they are taught, okay? And I'm not going to debate that, but I'm saying though that the fact is, feeling a love from someone makes you want to open yourself up to them more. I'm not saying that you have to show love to everyone, but why don't you start from inside of yourself? See, a lot of times when you try to be warm towards other people, you feel inside like you're not comfortable with yourself. You're not really feeling, dare I say, love towards yourself. You struggle with finding that space, that place of that you're at peace with yourself. Perhaps you have some internal turmoil. Perhaps there's things that you feel like you could do better, or you've done in the past, and you feel like you cannot be forgiven for what you did, or whatever it is. But I tell you what, that the moment you start to talk to yourself in a compassionate way, when you change your tonality towards yourself and you see yourself as a person who is deserving of, I know some might feel apprehensive towards this, but even if you don't feel like you deserve it, still changing the way you communicate to yourself and changing how you approach yourself and talk to yourself in a way where you are showing compassion will affect how you feel, and how you feel will then affect how you present yourself externally to other people. See, the goal here is to emanate warmth and to have tools internally that will cause you to be more charismatic outwardly. My goal though is to not just be charismatic and show people how magnetic I am. That's not my goal. My goal is to be good in the inside and to feel good and to be healthy mentally, emotionally, and then the outside will be good as well. In the words in the Bible is quoted Jesus saying that first make clean the inside, then the outside will be clean also. So it all starts from the inside. It's a good principle to hold. Now that's two tools that I've used. That's gratitude and that's self-compassion. But now I want to talk to you about things you can start doing with other individuals that will help you to show compassion and show warmth, thus making you more charismatic. See, I know that you want to be more magnetic, more lively out there. I understand that you want to change how you are approaching other people. You have this platform perhaps, and you want to come across as more warm. You are dealing perhaps with individuals at your workplace. You are called upon to lead them. You were hired to be a manager. You want them to listen to you, and you want them to ask you for advice, but you find it difficult to do so, right? And this is why we're having this conversation, because you want to improve this. And I've told you already, if you are gracious, if you are having a heart of gratitude, and you are self-compassionate towards yourself, immediately inside of you there will be a warmth brewing up in you. But also add on top of that these things that I'm going to share with you. Are you ready for this? Practical things you could do with other people. More tools. Here are more tools for you. When you meet somebody, immediately understand that, even before you meet somebody, understand this. First impressions are extremely important. Someone makes an impression of you very, very quickly. Within the first few seconds of meeting you, they already have an impression of you. How you present yourself. If you present yourself with confidence, when you shake their hands, when you shake their hand, I should say, not their hands. Can you imagine somebody shaking the left and the right hand at the same time? That's crazy. I'm sure the first impression you leave them will be that you're a weird individual. And you don't want that. You do not want that. So let's talk about it. First impressions. Present yourself already with confidence. See, when you meet somebody, especially if you're working with, let's say, customer service. Let's say you work in a restaurant or a retail store. Or not even that, you work in a mall selling. And you find people, rejecting you a lot. Still, you hold that demeanor. See, a lot of times, let me just tell you, because this past weekend, just yesterday actually, I was at a mall and, somebody was trying to approach me and I acted like I was busy, which I really was. I was holding 3 kids on me. Come on, like I'm walking with them. I'm trying to keep them all in check, But the point is, though, that if you are like that salesperson, if you emanate warmth and you have this goodwill about you, that you desire the good in everyone that passes you, and you are open towards them, and you have this mindset that the world is not a overall negative place, that the world is more or less, more positive than it is negative, and there's lots of opportunities out there, and there's people that want good, etc., and you want good for them, you're gonna show that persona, that feeling, that flavor that you have about you is going to be magnetic towards individuals. You're gonna want to show that, and that first impression that they get from you is gonna be that of, wow, this guy's interesting, this person is amazing. They come across as someone who is likable. I want to hang out with this kind of person, they say when they meet you. See, always understand that you are always making an impression somewhere. And what people remember most in their first impression is not so much the words you said, not even how you looked, unless it was a crazy appearance, but it is how you left them feeling. Did you hear me? I know you're looking around because we're imagining that we're having this backseat conversation. But I'm telling you, if you remember that, that's really important. It's how you made them feel that they remember you by. And again, if you're coming from a good place, a good mental state, you're going to make them feel good when they talk to you. When you talk to them, let me talk to you about this. First impressions are very important. How you are dressed. If you're dressed sharply, if you're dressed looking one level up before you, you know what I mean? Like if you dress up like the boss, then people are going to respect you more. How you dress matters. How you comport yourself matters. How you groom yourself matters. How you convey confidence in your body language matters. How you shake their hand matters. How firm of a grip you give them matters when you shake their hand. How you look at them and make the eye contact matters. How you speak with them matters. How you listen to them matters. Not only is it gonna make a good first impression, but it's also gonna give you points, and you're gonna see and feel more confident. You understand that body language matters so much. I mean, I'm giving you a lot of things maybe out of order, but let me just tell you that how you present yourself matters. Even if you don't feel powerful, just having a powerful composure about yourself, powerful body language will make you feel powerful. Having a confident body posture will infuse confidence in you still. And it's an upward spiral. Consequently, it's a downward spiral if you are having negative body language. You're slouching, or you look tired and you're walking around slow, you feel tired. But if you want to reverse that spiral, all you got to do is start changing your activities, and your feelings will follow afterwards. But impressions are so important. How you introduce yourself, that's also important. How you introduce yourself. Hello, my name is Luis Torres, and I am a consultant helping people improve their lives. How are you today? How do you feel today? And then you listen. Let me talk to you about listening. Here's another tool to use. Make him or make her, whoever you're speaking with, feel like I just remember this one song from Rihanna. She's got this really cool song. She's singing about, make me feel like I'm the only girl in the world, she said. I mean, it's a pretty catchy song. You could dance to this. I'm sure they play this in clubs all over the place. But the point is right there. You make the individual feel as though they are the most important person in the world in that moment. Eckhart Tolle, in his book The Power of Now, he was talking about how the thing you are doing at this present moment right now is the most important thing you are doing. That is the most important thing. Talking about how the conversation you're having with that person is the most important one you're having now. Not saying that out of a prideful state of mind. I'm not prideful when I say that, but the point is, if it is not the most important thing that you're doing, then why are you doing it? So therefore, if it is the most important thing you are doing, if you're speaking to an individual, then by all means, give them your full attention. If you're talking to a customer, focus on that customer. Take one thing at a time. Or if you're talking to an employee about something that is wrong in their schedule, then give them your full attention, even if it is just for 5 or 10 seconds. Because in that moment, in that now moment, that's the most important thing you're doing. So when you're making a first impression with somebody and you're meeting someone, even for the first time, give them that attention. The power of now is so important. Give them that attention now and make them feel as though they are the most important person in that moment. Because it is. If you make them feel like they're important, guess what they're going to remember you by? It's being someone who makes them feel important, makes them feel good. You can come across as a very smart person also by this. Asking smart questions, making the individual feel smart. Again, it's not what you say they remember, but it is how you made them feel that they remember you by. Especially when you are also ending the conversation with them and you're saying your goodbyes. A lot of us, I'm sure, when I'm speaking to you about this, I'm sure a lot of us have felt it difficult to say goodbye to somebody. Not in the not the sentimental way of, well, I feel so sad to say goodbye. But we don't really know how to end conversations. But if you know how to end it with value, saying to them, you know what, you could check out this website, or you could check out this individual on YouTube, or here, I found this book useful, or I'm gonna leave you with this, I gotta get going, I have something to do, and you fill in the blank there. But learning how to leave them feeling like you are a person of goodwill, have them feeling good about you is really good. Listening when they're talking to you, okay? Being present in the moment is extremely important. And listening to them, asking questions, being present with them. I'm not talking about you just passively saying while you're on the phone. Or they're talking to you and you're saying but you're really thinking about what else to say next. No. If you want to come across as a magnetic person, a person that cares about people and wants to learn about them, then you are present with them in the moment. You listen actively, listening to them, asking questions, follow-up questions, making it about them. See, a lot of times, and this is where we come into speaking, you listen and then you speak, but a lot of times all you want to do is speak. People just want to drop in their 2 pennies and move on. But if you want to come across as someone who is charismatic, who is a person of warmth and goodwill and wants good for the individual, and if you want them to remember you, feeling good about you and wanting to invite you to the next event, well, you want to make them feel good and make them feel like you really care about them. Well, then don't be so quick to speak. Again, there's an old saying that says everyone should be slow to speak and quick to listen. Quick to listen and slow to speak is what you want to do. When you're asking someone to listen to you, if you're going to give a conversation, a talk, a seminar, or even a sermon, 40, 50 minutes long, an hour long, 2 hours long, you want to look. You got to realize what you're doing. Okay, what you're doing is you're asking them to pay you, but you have to be giving them value for what they're paying for. I'm sure you hate it when you go and you pay for food that doesn't taste good. I'm sure you hate it when you pay for something and then it breaks. You pay for something, you're like, where's my worth at? I paid for this. Where is the thing I paid for? You say, well, I'm not really asking for money from them. You might be, but you might not be. But listen, you have to understand that people pay with their attention. People pay with their listening, with their time. Because they could be doing something else as far as they're concerned. Just like right now, if you're still listening to me, you are paying with your time, and I better be providing value to you. If I'm not giving you value, then of course you should not be listening to me. I don't deserve that. I haven't earned that time because I'm not giving you something of value. It's basic supply and demand. It's basic commerce, I guess. You give someone something of value in exchange for something of value on their part. That's how it works. Same with attention. You cannot be robbing people. So if you're going to speak and demand a certain amount of time, you want to make sure that what you give them is of great value, especially if it's worth their time. Don't waste people's time. So yes, listen more than you speak, and when you speak in a way that conveys so much value. And how can you give value if you haven't heard what they have to say yet, right? So it's tied in with listening. But let me talk to you a little bit more about speaking. When you do speak as well, you don't want to have this monotone where you're always speaking the same thing and you have a low voice, volume. You don't really show energy in your conversation. And you're speaking too fast. I've done this lots of times. Or you're breathing too much. Or you're nervous. It's okay to tell the individual that you're nervous. You might even flatter them if you say that, but make sure to communicate that. If you feel discomfort, it's okay to communicate that. But you want to communicate in a way where it is clear and it's engaging. You want to capture the person's attention, but you also want to hold their interest and build a desire in them as you speak, especially if you're selling something. But you might not be selling a product or service, but you might be selling them on what you have to say to them. Maybe you want to sell more time. You want to sell another appointment. You want to sell another session with you. Whatever it is, you want to speak in a way that has purpose. And speak value. Speak things that are good. And speak clearly. And seek to be understood. Like they said, first, seek to understand them. Know what they're talking about. Know their needs and desires and wants and problems. And then you seek to be understood. Speak in a way where they understand you without a shadow of a doubt what you're saying. That might mean taking your time speaking clearly. And also what I like to do is use visuals, especially coming from my background and giving sermons out for years. I like to speak to the individual in a way where they can understand it. It doesn't matter how old they are, especially when you're speaking to the general public. They say that the general public has an education level of about a fifth grader. I read that somewhere. I cannot quote it at the moment, but that's what I remember. And so therefore I speak with that understanding. And I try to use words and I try to paint pictures mentally of what I'm speaking about so they can better remember. And I try to speak in a way where it is clear enough for them to remember. And I try to recap things so that it is instilled in their memory, because there's a lot of things going on, a lot of distractions. Even as we drive around in this imaginary backseat conversation, you could look around the window and see billboards flashing of signs saying, just do it, or buy this, or buy that, buy the lottery ticket, trying to distract you from lots of things. But the more you stay focused on what you want to do and grow in your charisma and grow in your warmth, the more those things will not distract you, and the more discipline you will develop. Guys, you say to them, guys, you can change this. I know that me speaking to you right now, I'm telling you right now, this is like a muscle that can be trained. The more you practice this, the more you will improve on this. Yes, that even includes the stuff I talked to you just a few minutes ago in the beginning of this conversation I had with you. Remember, I was telling you about having gratitude and self-compassion. I tell you what, just like anything else, the more you do it, the better you will get at it. Then do it. Start doing that today. Start emanating that warmth. Look around you today and start to be thankful. Even if that means writing it down. Do it. Yes. Get a notebook and start writing it down. And when you start feeling down and out of it, and you start feeling anxious, look to that journal. Look to that book. Look to that source of inspiration and find reasons. Train your eye. Train your eye, your sight, train your mind to look for things to be thankful for. Just because it's in a religious book does not mean that because you're not religious doesn't mean that you don't have to do this. I'm telling you, man, it's a good practice regardless. Practice gratitude, because it's going to allow you to emanate that warmth all over you all the time and make you magnetic. Practice self-compassion. I know it feels weird because you've always been taught and you've always felt like it's only a higher being can be compassionate like this. But if you realize, or you see it as, well, you know what, all this time it's really just been my own mind that has been telling me that there's a higher love or whatever, an unconditional love. All this time it was just me telling myself that. Well, then see it as it is and be like, you know what, okay, then if I have generated these feelings all along, then of course I can generate them in this understanding. I can generate this self-compassion still, even more so, because you already know that you're using this as a tool to get you to where you want to be, more compassionate, more warm, more magnetic. And thus, when you make videos, or when you make recordings, or when you do talks, you conduct seminars and trainings, etc., you will be one who is magnetic because you've practiced these tools and you've put these tools to use. Let me know how it goes for you in the comments below. Also leave, if you have any questions, but also leave tips and tricks as well that you've done to emanate warmth, because I also need to learn from you. I invite you to leave comments below that of things that you've done or things that you've learned that have allowed you to be more magnetic. I look forward to reading those comments. Check out the links in the descriptions below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to get more information like this and many different ways of communicating this to you. Hit the notification bell to be notified when new videos come up. And until next time, take care of yourself.